I'm doing one more for the night. So I'm gonna wait till people tune in though. Um, and so if you're seeing this after, you can just skip it. Um, and welcome. Um, until just before I started this, my other device was being a bit slow, but now it seems to be a bit not slow. So now I know one of my frequent watchers has went to bed, but maybe she'll be struggling to sleep and be watching for the next and make her way here. Chapstick if you're curious, chapstick if you're not, and I'm holding the phone with this hand, so I will have to. I really should have it plugged in while I'm doing this. That way, if I go to the piano at any point in time, although I'm kind of in a guitar mood tonight, but if I go to the piano or the keyboard, then it's fully charged. So I might briefly cut that in. Okay. It's a bit tricky to use, but we'll get it. That looks like it might work well. So I'll put this back thing here. Sorry, playing with this bendy piano. I'm trying to do it with one hand, and that's probably not a great way. I figured it out easily on here, but not on the I have it plugged in, but okay, let's try that. As long as it's also charging, it looks very, very upright, but more than usual. But it's weird that this just a website is talking about summer inspiration when it's no longer summer. I guess they just keep it there all the time. Burnt ideas and recipes. I mean, I don't have a very minimal amount to shop with tomorrow, so outdoor dining. Okay, I have to keep that because I like. I mean, we have lots of chocolates and mostly chocolates and cookies. I think other desserts, but I can't think of what they are at the moment. But looks like I should definitely do my errand tomorrow because now they're calling for, even though in the winter, so it would I guess be freezing rain, in this freezing rain tomorrow night. But it's weird. I don't understand that personally. Why the weather would be warmer when it snows? Because snow feels like a cold thing. I don't know. But I mean, our winters do kind of anyway. But yeah, it's like low minuses, like not like super far into them, and then 60% chance with almost the same temperature, but grayer slash night sky, freezing rain and drizzle. And then the next day, which is actually +3 Celsius, um, so far it's saying anyway, is also supposed to be raining, so it won't be as nice. The next day, -8 isn't bad, but snow throughout the day. So, anyway, welcome, welcome. So, I wanted to play. Thanks for letting me process that out loud as you tuned in here, and you're like, yeah, but it really wasn't that interesting. So, I'm gonna go away if you're just talking about Mother. Oh yeah, I wasn't planning to talk about it for much longer. No need to. But but it does mean that yes. I mean, I was thinking of doing it anyway, most likely, even though it's actually other than the rain, nicer out the second day. But I've been meaning to do this errand for a few days, so. But it's just been so cold and windy the past couple of days. still gonna be running a 16-minute video, unfortunately. Yeah, so I was probably doing her stream tonight. It's still supposed to be windy on Tuesday. So, what did it say at this point for after that, though? Good thing it toggled back just fine. Yeah, not the greatest. If it doesn't snow and blowing snow, actually it says periods of snow during the day and snow and blowing snow in the evening. If it doesn't snow that day, that might not be a bad day to get around. So yes, anyway, just skip ahead to the content and wait for viewers at this point. It's all 7 o'clock, so I'll get this from 8 to 10. He came down, didn't ask for it, so I'll say it was being slow, so that might be part of it. I don't know if I've ever heard that guy sing. I must have. But I swear I've just heard him whistling and playing guitar. So that could be kind of a name that tune thing as well, and he doesn't mind that I play it out. So, about 7 minutes in, one and then a second one if you can. Welcome, welcome. I'd like to play a little bit of Name That Tune, and then we can chat and do other music. This is a bit of an obscure song. My guitar's just over there, but I'm thinking I might just hum it. The chord pattern is kind of interesting. Stays on C for a little bit, then goes to A, then goes to C, then it's F, G, C. Um, but and there's one of you here. I don't know if it was one of the two that was just here a moment ago and accidentally clicked away. But either way, glad to have you here. And yes, it's a bit of Name That Tune. This one's a bit obscure, I think, and also I'd be curious to talk about the lyrics of it, to be quite honest. But the person left, so maybe not. Who does this originally? Okay, never heard of him. Personally, I haven't. So, do you know what this tune is? Um, I'm not really able to guess and listen if you go with that. I'll do it again. See if you can guess this tune. Rude, both of you. Sorry. Well, I'm not the one that's super sorry. Anyway, when the right people tune in, maybe they just thought, oh, I suck at this game, or they do. And if that's all this is, then I'll go find something else to watch. It might not have been all this is. But also, when somebody's actually musically talented, they're a bit easier to. It's easier to give um, better hints, right? So I'll do it once more. See if you get it. Do you know what song that is? And then also, if there's anything else you want to talk about, any songs you'd like to hear me do specifically. Um, that person looked like that was here from looked like they almost tried to guess and didn't ask to hear it again though. Like, no, I don't think I do. Not many people here guessing, so I'll just leave. That's what it seemed like. But anyway, thank you very much each time. Chapstick if you're curious, chapstick if you're not. And we're here to chat, we're here to do music, and we're here to have a good time. Visit with each other. And say rock and roll, but more than just that style. But looks like you were rolling. Come on, don't be an ant. We could talk about almost anything. I could sing a song. In fact, I'm doing that right now if you didn't notice. So perhaps sing along. But I'd rather do a song you know. I did think of another line, but I'm going to wait till somebody here. And actually, I thought of two lines, and the other one is "Welcome to this open mic," but that would be like more than just me playing, and it's not. She is here, but he will play piano a little bit in the other one, but he has something else he wants to do right now. So, okay, I'm gonna close this one. Hopefully, people might guess after it's been posted, but I think there was three people here the one time I hummed it. Nobody said diddly squat, so guess it's not meant to be. Okay, this one's actually. Oh yeah, he's singing. We can play Name That Tune together. We can chat. We'll have a good time either way. I don't know if I like his. I guess it's how he's keeping rhythm, but I'd prefer he just play and sing, and the whistling is pretty good and everything. But yeah, here to chat, here to do music, perhaps. I have a fair amount of energy tonight, so help me put it to good use. So isn't not following anything. I'm just kind of freestyling it. I don't understand what this thing is that they do. I really don't. And sometimes like the still image of the paint can, it just doesn't make any sense. Oh, they're in the car, so after they do this, they're gonna probably be driving home or wherever they're going. Um, Well, it doesn't need to be open that many times. It just looks like it's just. I unfortunately don't know that song. So I think it goes through 3 here. And I'm just trying to do some organizing with things I have open on my computer, but like I say, open to chat, open to doing music. I've not really been rolling very long, and progress will not be made if people stay for like 5 seconds. That's just, you know. I think I did actually scroll a few lives earlier today, and did I judge quickly? Well, I don't remember what I watched, so it must not have been that good. No, I was kidding. I was actually going to look at that in a moment, but um, the computer's being a bit slow. So yeah. Looks like it's about to come back to in a moment, though, maybe? Yeah. Hmm. But if it's just that tab that's being slow, like, I'll go from it. Like, who needs it? Who needs a slow tab? Not I. And some of them seem to be better. That is one thing I wanted to go to anyway, so I'll just go to it here. And this is playing, but I'll just pause it. So maybe I should have given it a computer and then just use most of it, because that would have maybe been a bit quicker. I mean, computers or cell phones are rarely slow, I find. Um, it's not because, you, well, you probably, I think one still would do less on them, even if you're a multitasker and have a lot open. I think that jump around on things. I think that definitely um, in the operating system is not as strong, but I would say definitely that's the case. And so that's probably what I should have done, but it wasn't 8 o'clock yet, so it felt too early in the thing. And it is being kind of a little bit hit and miss, and I'd rather it be better before I give it to him. Now I'm pretty sure that was open. Yeah, that's already open. I'm gonna close that. Angels bring comfort. Okay, just read it, closing it, because it's not actually something I notice really that I do much with very often. It's actually a really great topic, though. If one of these would behave, I don't need to load everything on the main page. I just want to go to a certain tab once it comes up, but of course it's going to, right? So it's only been 21 minutes. Good golly, it feels so much longer. And there's no, I really don't know if there's an optimized setting. So know what I might do? Okay, here we go. I was just thinking, yeah, move things over to Mr. McCullough, because I was going to suggest that he's a musician who gave her piano to Salvation Army. Interesting. That he used that thingy. If it's better, I haven't used it much, but it looks like I've used it some. Um, been quite a gap since. I mean, it hasn't been as long as it feels, but since there's been somebody here. And that should be a short song. It still shows the speaker on the tab as if it's playing, but like it should be done by now unless it's frozen. The thing is, I mean, he's enjoyable to talk with, But I've asked a couple times if it's like me, he just doesn't say. For some reason. And he does remind me a lot of Steven. Yeah, that I don't think I realized was Taylor. I don't necessarily say that. Jeremy. And I don't know what this was, but I think it was religious preaching. I don't remember seeing that. It must have been very brief. Um, and you know what? This tab seems to be being pretty okay. So, um, this would have been a good time. Well, I didn't really need to at the time, but it's been quite a gap since anybody's been here. It says that one is watching via here, but not via there. Usually it's the opposite way that I'm doing that, because I guess the camera's only been working for a couple of days on this thing. Okay, where's the chat? Not displaying right, that's where. Oh, there we go. At the 20, I'm going to give myself a couple additional minutes maybe. 30-minute mark. For under 5 minutes. But yeah, so I'm here to chat. I'm here to do music. If there's anything you'd like to suggest. I'm still kind of tempted to do that name that tune of that song that was looking at. If you'd like to play a round of that. But I don't really have a lot of other songs up at the moment, so it would just be that one. Um, and yeah, very happy to have you here. I've only been rolling for about 20-ish minutes, but it's been a little quiet. So, yeah. One thing I did want to do, um, and it you know, I'm the person who's watching right now has been here for 2 or 3 minutes now, so I don't know if it would make sense to do this or not. But one thing I did want to do, the other thing I was going to try and do here, the computer's being wonky, so I will do the thing that I was speaking about, or about to speak about, is when I was browsing randomly, just getting into it, It's got that one check marked, but it didn't actually do it. So that's bizarre. Yeah, usually I end up having to ask this game when I'm doing the random scrolling, because it doesn't usually show how long they've been rolling for. Like the one I watched earlier today, like I had to go away briefly, and I was wondering how long they were rolling for. I was going to roll for longer. He didn't roll as long as I thought he was going to, but how long was it total? Just under an hour. And the one below that's about 2 hours. Let me play this while I'm away. I did say the 30 mark, so I better get moving and grooving here. I think G plays that one actually. She's writing on her music instead of just playing. Whoops, and now what's it doing now? I don't know. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, just a moment here. The computer's being slow and stupid. La da da da. La da da da. Well, I was hoping to play that music, but I put that little note there, so that'll have to do. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Did I close it again? I don't think so, because it wasn't stacked in a different way, and that's as many as you could fit there. So I'm really not sure. But I better get upstairs and then back down. I've got 2 minutes. If I'm going by what I said, and I try my best to do that. But this is the one with that song in it, right? Is that what's playing? Go back, please. I think so, yeah. Yeah, and so I don't know what happened to the one I was just looking at. Maybe this? No. That's so strange. Let me see for a moment. What does that look like? Okay, could be. Could be. Let me just see here. Okay. Okay, well, that should make a difference. Anyway. Oh. Okay, so I'm back. Sorry, I got a little bit of a. I hear something playing here. Okay, so I'm back. Sorry, I got a little bit. Oh, okay, and I recognize exactly what it is too, but I don't know what. So I was a little bit delayed going upstairs for a moment because okay, so if I was to click this, if I was to click this, I can't. You know how when you click on a computer, the volume button, and it actually shows like your Wi-Fi, some other settings, brightness or whatever, and usually at the top it'll show what's currently playing. I can pause it but not open it, and I can't find the window that it's in. But what I wanted to do, oh, and I thought that I had actually accidentally closed it, but when I go to browse history and it shows recent tabs in a group, it usually says it right at the top, although I think it was one or two things down earlier when I found I was able to relaunch it. This time I'm not seeing the option, so that's very strange. But if I'm not seeing it, then I'm not seeing it, right? Anyway, I'm seeing somebody here though, so I do want to welcome you here. Uh, we can chat. I can do music. One thing I did want to do is so I'm just going to use this new window for a moment here, and hopefully the computer will be fast. I'm not doing this on the computer, but hopefully it will behave. Because one thing I thought to do, okay, he left, so never mind. You did try and hear it out, though. I will admit you did. I'm just going to grab my socks from over there. But yeah, that's bizarre. Because, I mean, I have a few windows open, but I look and I don't see it there. And, because, like, again, I'll look. It's not that one, because I haven't touched that all day, because I'm kind of waiting until later in the week. Because there's a note there. It's not that one. I know, it's not that one. I thought it'd be that one, but I think I was in that window, and then I thought that it went from it. Because there was another tab playing, and I thought that it went from it, but maybe that is the tab. Um, it very well actually may have been, to be quite honest, and I may have been doing two things in that one tab. It's totally possible. So, but it's being very, very slow. But I did just notice something else, by the way, that apparently this browser, um, it's like on YouTube as well. So that's kind of interesting. Nobody's here, so I'm not going to say anything. Good, she's online now, and that's behaving. So that's good to see. Oh, right, the other thing I wanted to do is Christmas. It doesn't say viewing, but I see there's a comment there and a like, and I appreciate both. I was playing music a little earlier. At the moment, I'm not, but I'd love to do it again. I have some energy still, so if you have any song requests, feel free to make them. But yeah, and then the other thing. Also, Merry Christmas, everyone, and to you both. Thank you, very nice, and to one and all as well. So, I wanted to talk about my. Wow, that didn't take long. It's like you want to talk about your something about you, you know. Well, all of us are coming from a place of self. That doesn't mean we're selfish, but I mean, it's actually a great way to put it because it's very true, isn't it? So, I mean, it's a pretty good starting spot, I would say. Um, if this was closer to the beginning, I'd just ramble and hope that some people would see it afterwards at this spot. But it's almost an hour in, so come on, don't make me wait very long for at least one or two people, please. It's been a long time since I've seen this thing be so slow. It really has. And I've closed some things, so okay, here we go. No, that's not updated. It's weirdo. It's weird. It's in making she was first in row, then Robin's first in row. Goes in front of her. Cuts her in line. hmm. Hmm. So, what I wanted to do was talk a little bit, and it's true I have not browsed live streams very much today, but I wanted to talk about. Okay, it looks like you've left. Know that sometimes after you roll for an hour, then things pick up a bit. Shouldn't take that long, but sometimes it do. I wanted to talk a little bit about, what it looks like when I scroll lives randomly, and just kind of, to see how our styles are similar and the things we come across and might want to talk about. Like I say, I mean, it's not just because I'm me and I'm trying to toot my own bugle or whatever. I do have a certain amount of confidence, though. But I have a feeling if I came across a guy like me, I wouldn't be like, nah, nah. And hey, I don't always like myself. I usually don't hate myself, but I don't always like myself. There's a difference. Don't know how to really explain it, but there is one, I promise. But, yeah. Hmm. Is this the one I just pulled that order in, or just it? I can't tell. They're both chemicals. So we'll go both. Well, I only poured it in one though. Um, Carrie. Hi. Yes. I wanted to remind you of me and then come visit. That's why you heard my name earlier in the game show you were watching, and why you're seeing my first name there. And I just wanted to remind you of me and come visit because yeah, I'm really sorry to see that you're not having as productive as a video session as you would like to. Yep, that's for sure. Um, but I do wish you and your family a Merry Christmas. Now, this is obviously a Ninjaman who does not know me very well and does not know kind of my situations. She's like, "You're right, but I know that you live with somebody and a dog as well, and I wish you guys a Merry Christmas, and I hope that I hope that you get through your anything that you're struggling to get through with greater ease." Is actually how she says it, which is kind of interesting. You have any suggestions as to how to do that? Um, well, she's like, I want to be careful because I don't want to suggest the wrong thing. And, we weren't super close with each other, sir. And so, to be honest, she says, I haven't watched you in your day to days very much. I popped in every now and then, but very, very rarely it's true. And so she says, but one thing I do know that you've said is that one can take suggestions, or get suggestions, doesn't mean they have to take them. Um, and so, I mean, but, I just really give you indebted to me if I gave you some, and then, would would it be forgiven if they didn't work out? I mean, the strongest thing that we can have in life and bring to our interactions is love. So she's very interestingly saying, I think if you just remember the um, the love that you have with those people, and to lead with love, I think that you're big. Oh wow, this browser is our messenger as far back, like at the bottom. Someone who have messaged recently, as far back as 2024. Out of curiosity, let me just quickly check for a moment. What date? Um, December 5th. I do kind of remember she had a December birthday, or am I thinking Marnie? But anyway, so yeah, pretty much just saying um, to keep the love in your heart. She says, again, sir, I don't know you very well, but what I do know is that you're a very loving individual. And she says that's a wonderful thing to be. Um, it's hard when we're dealing with people. You know, we're all we're all prone to, you know, even if it might not feel like it on some of your videos. We're all prone to speak our mind and just kind of sometimes speak impulsively. Um, and we all are, but she says, I sense that you're a person who um, she passed away just a few days before Christmas. I remember that actually. I wasn't close with this person, so I mean, it didn't. And this is posted December 28th. It didn't like impact me super strongly, but um, October 5th. So almost December 5th. But the December and the 5th part are correct in that. Um, but, anyway, basically, she's just saying you seem to be someone who has a lot of tact in the way that you treat people, and in the way that you uh, um, in the way that you interact and just carry yourself. She says also what a great quality to have in a person. Um, but some people don't have that, right? And so she's, it's kind of reading my mind a little bit and realizing, like, I'm thinking, well, I missed that. I'm thinking about the sister-in-law. And she's saying, just realize that some people, um, I don't want to sound unkind, even if you feel mixed feelings about some of these individuals. But she says some people, they speak quickly and then they embarrass themselves. And she says, you know what? That's not on you, though. That's not on you. And I mean, correct. I wasn't saying that it was. Um, but she's saying, well, I just don't want you to basically what I'm trying to say is, sometimes you can't take what some people say to heart because they're not speaking accurately. They're speaking out of various feelings, whether it's um, frustration, anger, um, um, you know, judgment. Unfortunately, sometimes, um, you know, I think what's important to remember, and I think you know this, she says to me, but I think what's important to remember is that you know that these people are still good people, that they still do love you, I'm pretty sure, and they just aren't always the greatest at showing it. And it's interesting because, I do feel that my mother and the sister-in-law and her husband are good people. Um, and exactly that. I just feel like they don't always show their dip, diplomacy, if that's the word, diplomatic way. That's not necessarily a political phrase. And they don't sometimes show their love or even interest that much. And she says, and that can be very hard when you have a lot of it to give, right? Yeah. But she says, again, know that they do care about you, they do love you, and they really wouldn't want to hurt you or hurt your feelings. And she says, and then, like I say, the embarrassment can come in sometimes where it's kind of like they realize they screwed up. And some people, it's not even just about you. She says some people just have a hard time admitting that kind of thing. And I can't believe I'd never thought of that before. Because I'm mostly not one of those people, you know. And it's not that I don't think or notice how other people are or put myself in their shoes or whatever, but I'm mostly not one of those kind of people. So it's kind of like, you know, sometimes they don't realize they don't realize the effect something has had on someone's well-being, or that somebody else is holding on to something that they've done, um, even if we think they should. Um, does that make sense? Yeah, I mean, I think that when in the case of, I wouldn't even say my step, because I mean I know my mother even longer than him. In the case of her, I think that she realizes some of her wrongdoings, and she realizes, I think probably that I think that I'm hoping that she realizes that when I've seen her recently and this and that, it does not mean that I have completely forgiven some of the really um, immature kind of ways of dealing with some certain situations that she had, um, or the overly criticalness, because she figured, because I'm your mother, so I can do that. Like that's my job. You know, um, She says, and that's unfortunate because our mothers should have nothing but love for us. And, you know, I'm pretty sure your mother loves you, she says. But she says, some people just have a harsher personality. And again, she says, I've never gotten, the little that I knew you in life and otherwise, I've never gotten the impression that she's saying that I do, but she says some people definitely do. And she says, I'm sorry that has an effect, on people like yourself, because you're just trying to be a good person, and like you say, lead with love. But so she knows that she did stuff. I don't think that she thinks that I've forgiven her completely. I think that would be silly. I think it'd be a little bit delusional. But maybe she does. And it's always that not wanting to give that impression, right? Um, but because I've known her for longer, right? I mean, my step is oblivious anyway a lot of times. And as far as sister-in-law, I mean, I haven't known her that long. And I bet you that she probably thinks that I've let go of this. And maybe she hasn't entirely either. Maybe she's like, I still feel really bad that I said what I said. But, she's embarrassed. She doesn't want to bring it back up again in case I have gotten past it, in case I just shrugged it off, it's even though she's a little bit awkward and quirky, I feel like she always tries to be nice to me. It is true. I mean, it's really not that hard, you know. But so um, whoops. So you know, it's interesting because some of those statements about how these people still love and care about us, even though they've done some things, um, oddly, I'm not really sure that had ever come to mind. It seems like it should have, uh, you know, because I would agree that it's true. But I guess sometimes, when we feel we've been hurt or misspoken, you know, I mean, it is. It's a very, I mean, I'm not saying that I should discredit what I've been through or call it nothing. But it is very true, and I'm thankful to say it, that they have never been abusive. Verbally and emotionally, like another misstep, I could say actually a little bit, unfortunately. But, and that, like I say, does count. That matters. Um, but, in the sister, definitely hasn't been. I mean, like I say, a little bit judgy about something, a little bit ignorant, um, about the same thing pretty much, and her partner about something else. But you know, um, none of them have ever physically abused me, and I certainly would not stand for that. I certainly would not stand for that. And I also don't think it's all that likely with these individuals. I don't think that it's like yeah, but it's been close. I mean, maybe a little bit, but but she can be sometimes all talk, but doesn't actually wouldn't actually do the things that she would say. So I mean, I thought it was a little bit deeper into this duration than this, but so again, I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that they do care and love, and I'm thankful that they have not actually abused me. Um, I think that me and G need to have a good talk if we're gonna see them, and just kind of be like, This is not, saying that we want to be super close or that, we are okay with the past. Um, but, I mean, it's interesting because, well, then the other thing, too, though, is that, like, we're picky eaters. Like, so, I mean, I grew up on eating a lot of veggies, and I still do. I not as much as I should, but G's not into them even less. I mean, so the food part, you know, isn't really the draw, so to speak. Is it really the yeah? There was something very briefly there. So I mean, and if you're gonna hang around people, it'd be good if you kind of like the type of company that they gave. You know, again, and now he has been around his sister a lot more than I have. So I mean, I'm sure that he would say that he pretty much does. Compared to the brother that talked to none of them. The other siblings, they're all fairly close with each other. It's just Jack's a real character, and really, you know, gets himself into trouble sometimes and that. But, you know, and she says, and you know what else? I'll just say one other thing, and I hope I'm helping. And actually, you are. You're saying some things that should be obvious, but that I don't always think about for some reason. But she's saying there's nothing wrong with um, standing your ground. Um, there's nothing wrong with standing your ground with even loved ones. It always will feel more awkward. When they're relatives, and it's like it shouldn't be necessary. Uh, but yeah, guessing you're probably downstairs. Um, if you you know And the hard part is, though, like, Gary, if I was to tell you something here, okay, like, like, they're definitely different personalities. Like, I don't know that well, but my mother and my step are similar, and they've been with each other for a while, so they kind of have that as well. But um, um, like I say, none of them are that great at apologizing. Once in a while, but none of them really are. And they are all kind of the type that, will either say they're just kidding when it wasn't even at all funny, really. And I have a sense of humor, I really do. Or they'll say, well, we didn't mean anything by it. You know, that's similar to what's your face saying, blah 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 blah. I hope I haven't offended you. Why are you saying that part? Because you think you may have? Then maybe tweak what you send before you send it. You know what I mean? Because look what happened. You know what I mean? So, that's very interesting. It's very interesting to wrap my head around that. And again, I think that could be very true as well. Um, it takes a certain amount level. No, I might not talk to what's his face. Or, want to hear a Christmas song? Uh, should I take? Should I not at this point? Do you think I shouldn't? I'd rather, once we're there, hopefully we won't be disappointed, but if we are, we are. But, I mean, beforehand, it's not that I would still probably go, but then I'd know for longer that it's a no instead of saying, okay, instantly right after, here's all the good things. But hopefully we do get to. I'm asking to play two songs, like seriously. And that may not sound like a lot, and it isn't, but it does mean a lot. And she says, and I wish you luck on that too, and I wish you, again, a very Merry Christmas. Uh, you know, I was not old when I passed away, but I wasn't young. And to leave my family, to have to leave my family and see them and friends, and see them mourn for me, over the holidays, you know, it was the hardest feeling. Like, uh, it sounds like maybe angels have told you before that, when we feel what you're feeling to a different level, but we still feel it. And although we accept the sadness and the grief as part of it, she says when you know the more that people feel sad, the harder it is. And she says, I got up here, and she says, and really felt at home. She says almost instantly, to be honest. And she says the the pure love and and calmness up here, the warm glow, the it's hard to even put it into words. She says, uh, but I felt very good not long after coming up to heaven. She says the hardest part, and I'm not blaming any of them. She says is that yeah, I had to watch them all mourn uh, my passing at a time when it should have been festive and happy. Um, so that's a typo. More to her than words can say. And she says, and what I always appreciated. It's nice to get gifts, but as far as around the holidays as you're reading, what I always appreciated was that um, that nobody expected anything from me, and I didn't expect anything from them. Like I say, some people were just gonna give you gifts, but more interested in experiences than possessions. Absolutely. Radiated love and compassion. Yeah, interesting. That's what's up, Bobby. And it's very interesting, actually, what I saw before this, because apparently she liked to read and be read too, and and um, YouTube showed me when I came to it. Uh, Story time. Listen while you relax. A video, and so that's kind of ironic, right? Um, and actually, like I said, I was watching a game show, and it had her actual name, and the first name's common. The last name is usually a male first name, honestly. But as far as the last name, I've heard it a couple times. There's actually a famous one, but other than that, I've only known two with the name. in my what do you uh, late 30s, you know, amount of years of life. Um, but she says, so speaking of reading something to me, can you read that comment that you see on your screen and tell me what you think? It's like I didn't put it, but tell me what you think. It takes a level of emotional maturity and personal growth to realize where you have been wrong and offer to fix it. I mean, I agree. And she says, so how do you think that might apply to the people that you're thinking about? Well, I've often thought, although maybe she's changed as she's gotten older, I mean, she's mellowed and this and that. I haven't gotten very much on each time, sorry. That my mother often wasn't a very emotional mature person. She's narcissistic. She's kind of off the handle sometimes. Um, and you know, I guess like me, she can be a bit sensitive at times. Um, and and my step just likes to ask a gazillion questions. He's kind of loud. Um, he's always got a comment, you know, and that's coming from a guy like me. So I mean, I really think if they just want to stop by and have a quick visit, you know, or either that or we go somewhere. I don't know. I don't know. I've been craving a buffet for a while, but honestly, it's okay if it's not a Christmas one. I don't know if most of the Christmas buffets. Um, um, I mean, whoops! I thought I was doing that in a different browser. But as far as a certain someone, I think that that um, that they it's a I think I would say it's an emotional regulation difficulty. Um, hi. So you know, she said something very interesting when she said that it's on them, not me. But it's a bit of both, honestly. I would say, uh, but yeah, it's I think to realize, I'm not saying everything this, and people have certain opinions about that, or like you don't see any fault in something. But if you largely don't know it, and it's other people's, put the blame where it went, and just kind of not take it on. I think is kind of the key. Um, Around this time of year, we feel expected to see loved ones, and we can really want it too. Uh, and you know what? It also makes us appreciate even more the relaxed, more peaceful, slow paced uh, options. Um, so, not that we wouldn't, but yeah. So, anyway, I'll let you look at the chat. Anything that you might want to say on that, any songs you might like to request. The computer's again back to being slow. Oh, as soon as I said that it is, though, it picks up a little bit. Um, like, um, the Well, that wasn't. I sent her though, and she's like, oh yeah, and she sees this one, she sees this one. If we're not live, she sees the other ones first. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you see kind of how they go in this and that and that. But yeah, so um, but I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about, and like I say, today was probably not a great example for it because I didn't really look at that many, but just kind of, my experiences in browsing random lives, and you can say, if you've seen any interesting ones, and if you're similar. The biggest thing I want to focus on when I say this is is I'm gonna look at each of these. You know, I'm not saying that I was wrong in how I did it necessarily, but the biggest thing I want to focus on is how long did I stay on each one? Because honestly, like I think I scrolled to about 6 or 7 earlier today, and the one I stayed on the longest was the one I chatted on, which was someone who had seen once or twice before. I'm gonna have to find that real one. If it's not, it's still open. Um, if I know that it was at the end, well, I have all the reminders right there. It's like, yeah, I have all the reminders right there. I can only get like 3 or 4 things on the amount of money you're gonna have with me. That's fine. Or otherwise, doing pretty all right. Um, that's interesting though. Psychic ministry. They're being guided to do right by you. Oh, she's the one. I actually stayed on her video for about 5 to 7 minutes, I think. Uh, she was kind of very hyper and loud and kind of annoying, to be honest. And I didn't think she was talking anything about religious. Uh, in fact, I think she was saying something that kind of sounded a little egocentric when it did it. See, when I'm speaking it out, I know the difference between like a healthy self confidence and ego and the opposite, you know. But other people may hear it differently, I suppose. Does it mean that that I'm you know not accurate or that I'm wrong in the way that I express? Yeah, nobody said Merry Christmas back to me in that. I think he said hi. Um, I was really surprised I didn't hear from Bob. I do remember seeing a drawing stream, but I don't remember what it. I guess I just felt with that one, like, it wasn't all that engaging that it wasn't that interesting to watch somebody draw. I don't know. Where's that piano one I was looking at earlier? This one here, right? Whoops. And then the browser just crashed, I think. Yep. I thought it was a worthwhile exercise to kind of talk about, though, to be honest. Um, but I guess my device doesn't want me to do that anymore. I'm trying to think of some other ones as well. Honestly, these days I'm seeing a lot of people that I'm already familiar with. So, and because I took the time Um, um, no, it's true. I'll say this part because I'm kind of okay if people don't hear this part because I would hope that it wouldn't be true with the connection I have with you. But it's true that some connections you're not necessarily going to decide to continue to kind of hold. Kind of like that other thing that we were talking about, but with those, they are always going to be a little bit. See, the hardest part for me was things like is like when she gets older, things are a little bit better. But you know what? They're never gonna seem perfect. Or even to the spot where I'd want, and yet, I have my limitations and my struggles, and we have our traumas of the past, and that is enough to say that um, to say that um, to say that I'm not required to do anything that I can't do, and to try not let myself be too stressed about it. Um, I bring that stuff up tomorrow. What's that? Oh,
Yeah,
juice from
these are one
Denley.
of the food items I've mentioned that have almost doubled in price. These used to
Well,
be like
juice, but yeah,
no, no, these aren't even juice. These are punches, fruit punches. So that means it's juice with sugar and other things,
nice and healthy.
flavorings. So yeah, these used to be like a dollar. Now they're two.
Oh, it's
So
not all that much.
that's why I stocked up on them so much, and they still haven't gone on sale. So it's getting kind of scary.
Hopefully, I'll be able to get all three or four things with that. I didn't.
Well, of
I thought I
course,
had 12. I had
you, you,
9.
you can of course get the tomato sauce cheaper at the Dollarama.
I
Or,
might try and do that. Yeah,
uh,
going in there, but just for that, maybe. Yeah,
yeah, well, good, yeah, because they don't of course carry
and
any.
then better not have stupid people with it because there are things in front of me not let me go in front of them. Yeah, they're kind of jinxed it. Well, the relaunch options for this are great. Recently closed, but doesn't want to actually show me the stuff. So that's annoying. So, yeah. I accidentally had it on mute, but I don't think anyone was here the whole time that I did, so. Um, but that's annoying because I'm sure I said some wonderful things. At least most of this wasn't here, though. Kind of curious about it. I have never seen this thing so slow before. Or it's like it'll load, but then not load Messenger. Starts opening the other things, starts loading it. And it's about 7 to 8 or 9 things by now. And when even a lot of times when they were open, it was still behaving better, so I really don't know. Yeah. Okay. We just now uploaded before 5 because those look at the both just the YouTube homepage and they're not loading. Oh, then that's that. I'm just surprised about if it loads. Is that the one that we know of? I don't remember if she was from Arkansas. No, it doesn't look like it. Nope. Ah, ah, ah. Should have brought the dog down with you, because he's been up there so long and it's still a while before bed. I have to decide next time when I go up there if I'm gonna lay up there for a bit or I fall asleep and then after. And then yeah. Ugh. And then bring him down. But anyway, I think I'm going to maybe wrap it up early because there's been long gaps, so there's not been anyone here, and it's just too quiet. That's what I'm thinking. So yeah, that is a long ass cigarette. And he goes with something weird now too, as much as I want to like him still. Is this one of his as well? This last 5 minutes, it seems to be taking forever to tick through them. Well, so this feels meant to be. I was just about to wrap up. I can still roll for another 15 minutes, half an hour maybe, probably. And since you tuned in, and it was quiet for a little while there, I feel like it's meant to be that you're here and we can chat about pretty much whatever. Okay, you left, so maybe not. People, I tell you. People who don't need people are the weirdest people in the world.